What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and today we're going to be talking about something Zombies has never done before, which may change the launch of Black Ops 2024 as we know it. Definitely stay tuned. But before we jump into that, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, drop a like, and also as a reminder, there's plenty of brand new content going up over on dkdynamite.com for those that want additional coverage in the form of articles for multiplayer, Warzone, and Zombies. Plus, we got plenty of tweets every single hour on Detonated's Twitter. Now, as you guys do know, I do try to make as much Zombies-focused content as I can, at least a good video or two a week, depending on how much material that there is. But luckily this week we have the release of Season 2 Reloaded, which is going to provide us with some brand new schematics, a new act mission, a new cutscene, and possibly even additional Easter eggs that we don't even know about yet. And we'll also be learning a little bit more about Season 3 and what that may entail for MWZ over the next couple of weeks. I'm sure the usual data miners on Twitter are going to post brand new information. The momentum and hype for Black Ops 2024 should be starting relatively soon. I'm assuming that if the game does release in October, like it's currently rumored to, then we should be seeing some teasers and possibly even some other big rumors pop up over the next couple of months. But the first thing I want to mention is that I do believe that with the Call of Duty integration for Xbox Game Pass, that's really going to reinvigorate some hype around Zombies. Even though it'll just be something that applies to older COD titles, it's unclear how Black Ops is going to be integrated with Game Pass day one. It's still, I believe, going to reinvigorate the Zombies community in a way that I think is needed as of right now. Getting folks to jump back onto that hype train for classic round-based Zombies, to go back and experience games like Cold War, BO4, 3, 2, 1, that's going to be great to really open up the door to people that may have not played Zombies in a while, or for those that may really not have played Zombies much at all in the last decade or whatnot. There might be some multiplayer focused people or people that hopped on to Warzone during COVID that may not have been able to experience older, just classic, beautiful Zombies experiences because of not having the right hardware to play that content. That might be huge to really get us into a big comeback for Zombies for the new Black Ops experience this fall. But what I also want to mention is that I am still upset and confused really about the current state of Zombies as we know it. I mean, MW3 Zombies to me is a fantastic experience, and I think up until Season 1-ish, the mode felt like it had already received multiple seasons worth of content. So I'm like, yeah, it's only up from here. The mode could do so much more over the course of another 5-6 seasons, and it just sucks to see what has happened with the mode. I mean, like I've mentioned in previous Zombie videos, I fully support Treyarch having to step away from supporting MWZ to make sure all hands are on deck for what is apparently a 4-year developed Call of Duty, which is what Black Ops Gulf for. I'm in support of that, but I just question why there wasn't maybe a better plan in place for other studios to take over that Zombies while Treyarch was still kind of working on it to ensure a smooth transition and to ensure healthy amounts of content for a mode that Activision claims is the most played third mode in Modern Warfare history. I'm just confused as to why a better plan wasn't put in place to ensure the mode doesn't die off or lose momentum when it just had so much for the first, month and a half, if not longer. And as a hardcore Black Ops fan and really a hardcore Treyarch fan, it's been really frustrating to see the reputation of Treyarch Zombies be stained across several years for reasons that are just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, with Cold War, that game's phenomenal, but it's still controversial here and there when it comes to the Zombies, especially Vanguard. I don't have to even mention, you guys know exactly what happened with that game, Zombies, and now MWZ being controversial because of the lack of content and support for it. It just sucks to see their rep get stained time and time again for completely unfair reasons, but debate that all you want down below in the comment section. Now, before we continue, I just wanted to remind you about MitchCactus.com, where you can get assistance grinding camos, nukes, or schematics in MW3. These guys do not use unlock tools or any bannable methods and will actually help you play the game. MitchCactus is also supported by Trustpilot with over 10,000 verified reviews. You can use code Dynamite for a limited time to save 5% off your order. Now, as you guys are aware, classic round-based Zombies is coming back, especially with the Call of Duty releasing later this fall. It's inevitable. I mean, it's already been confirmed by just about every outlet out there. I mean, devs at Treyarch have teased the return of round-based. We're going back to classic Zombies. So for those that are worried about what Zombies may look like in the future, don't worry. Any extraction, open world, or different experience that Zombies has had over the last couple of years, that may still exist and be brought back in the future, but classic round-based really isn't going anywhere. And I'm curious curious if we're going to be seeing an onslaught or outbreak of any sort for Treyarch's new Black Ops game. Hopefully we do see modes like that while round-based is getting really healthy amounts of content. Now the rumor right now is that we're getting 2 round-based maps at launch for the new Black Ops. One map that takes place in a city, and another that takes place on an island with an underground prison, which is where presumably Requiem is being held, as was teased at the end of the Forsaken map of Cold War's life cycle. So we already have some promising news that we're getting 2 round-based maps probably this October, and I wonder how many more we'd get over the course of a 6-season cycle. I'm gonna guess 4 maps minimum, hopefully even more. We'll just have to wait and see. But according to Windows Central, we're gonna be seeing something that Zombies has never done before, and it's something that's been a myth, I think, across several Black Ops titles now, and that is what you could consider a bit of a Zombies beta. But this is more than that. This is what they call paid early access to Zombies somehow by a couple of weeks if you either pre-order the game or pay for a special edition of the game itself. And I'm really curious how they're gonna end up incorporating this type of system. With the rumor there's 2 round-based maps, I guess you guys can guess, yeah, one of those maps will be available a little bit early, which I find exciting, but I wonder how much depth will be in that pre-order early access type of map. Will it have an Easter egg quest and side Easter eggs, and will it have an amount of content that you would typically see in a regular round-based map that comes out at launch or throughout a seasonal update? I wonder how much they'll put into a map that some folks out there may never play, because some folks might not pay for the Vault Edition or the exclusive edition or pre-order edition of the game that comes with that map. Now, I'm honestly really excited about this rumor, considering that Black Ops 4 had an issue that I think could have been solved by doing something that I just mentioned a few seconds ago, and that is splitting up the releases of various round-based maps. I don't really see a problem with doing 4 round-based maps at launch like BO4 did. I just think splitting up those launches makes the most sense. If you have one that you get by paid early access, you have one that's on disc, one that's a DLC one for buying a certain edition, and one that they can maybe save for a week or 2 after launch. If you split all of that up, I think that's the best way to do it. Having all those maps available day one, to me, it just creates burnout, becomes overwhelming for a majority of people, especially with split storylines like we saw with Ether and Chaos. I think that right there will ensure that people out there probably speedrun through content on all the maps and don't really absorb or enjoy or appreciate a map's atmosphere, dialogue, and Easter eggs because they're rushing to get to the next map to avoid FOMO because everybody else and all their other friends are probably jumping from map to map. That could just be absolute chaos, no pun intended. So I do think splitting up the releases, especially if you have 2 round-based maps at launch, I think that could be really healthy for the Zombies community and is a good experiment to just look at how the future of Zombies could be different from what we're accustomed to. I'm also really curious as to what environments we are going to see in Zombies for Black Ops 2024. I mean, considering the rumor right now that Verdansk is the Warzone integration map we're going to see with Season 1, that would mean that we're likely not going to see any controversy to where people are like, oh, the new zombie map is just an area pulled from the new Warzone map. I mean, they're likely not going to use Verdansk at all for Zombies, unless we get something crazy where they make a map set in, close to present day after Verdansk got nuked. Unless they do that, then I don't think we're going to have that issue where people are complaining about reused assets. But if people are upset about campaign assets potentially being reused, that'll also be fairly ironic considering with the birth of Zombies and with some of the earlier zombie days that we had, like with World at War or Black Ops 1, a bit of BO2, we've seen a lot of environments pulled from campaign and repurposed for Zombies, which I never had an issue with at all. But I think with games like BO4 or Cold War, people really started to get pissed off with any environments being reused for multiplayer or battle royale and then put into round-based. And I get that, but I don't think we're going to see that happen on the same scale as we've seen before with this new Black Ops, which should be pretty exciting to most people out there who are looking for original environments as close to the crazy areas we saw in a game like Black Ops 3. Now, for those wondering if we're going to see remastered zombie maps at any point, as of now, and like I covered before, there is a Black Ops game rumored for 2025. Yes, a year after this new Black Ops comes out, another Black Ops game is rumored to take place in the future and be a direct sequel to BO2, which will apparently feature a bunch of classic 2012 BO2 multiplayer maps at launch. To me, that game is the perfect opportunity to see some remastered zombie maps in, especially the ones that never got remastered a single time. They coincidentally also come from Black Ops 2, Transit, Die Rise Buried. That would really complete the whole Zombies Chronicles 2 that people out there have been asking for the last number of years. And you know, you think about how old BO3 is now, it'll be what, 9 years old when this new Black Ops comes out, and 10 years old when that second Black Ops game reportedly comes out. So that game game right there may even have a reimagining of some maps from BO3. It could definitely have reimaginings or faithful remasters of maps that never got that treatment, like Mob of the Dead, like Origins, like 5, like Nuketown. Maps that got remakes, right? Definite remakes in Black Ops 4, but never got faithful remasters like we saw with Zombies Chronicles 1 inside of BO3. So I'm confident we will get some remastered zombie maps in the next 2-3 years. I just don't really feel like Black Ops 2024 is the game to do it in. I think that second Black Ops game is probably a better fit to do something like that. And I say that because I really do feel like we need a really solid list of like 6 to 8 round-based maps before we get back into remasters. Let's just get Zombies back on track the way that it deserves, and then let's talk about remasters from a game like BO2 or even BO3. I'm down for remasters for sure at any time really, but I think we should see a good amount of original maps first, because that would probably help the community more than remasters ever would. Now, I mentioned that Black Ops 2025 title, which I'm still concerned about, because like I've brought up before, the current rumor from the media is that that game doesn't have a lead developer. High Moon was in talks to do it, but they just suffered from a ton of layoffs. Sledgehammer got pitched the game, but they declined it because they currently have a greenlit COD for 2027 and don't want to be responsible for another carry forward year 2 type of Call of Duty game that I guess you could say MW3 kind of is. And they dealt with plenty of hell with Vanguard, COD 2020 before Treyarch took over to make that game into Cold War. They've dealt with a lot, so I understand why they didn't want to take on the project. So if Treyarch has to do it, does that mean we're going to see significant content issues for the post-launch of Black Ops 2024, especially when it comes to zombies? Will we see zombie maps held off and saved for that new Black Ops game? Would we see something weird happen to where we get an MW3 type scenario where another studio has to kind of take over certain modes to keep it afloat for a set amount of seasons? I mean, if early access is happening for zombies this time around, then that could be a signal that they're ahead of schedule, which I think is really important. If they're already ahead of schedule and working on seasonal content, you know, as early as, you know, this summer or this fall, then that's awesome, since the game really hasn't even been announced, but is going to come out also early, which is October. We've only seen a few CODs released in October, like BO4, Modern Warfare 19. So I think this should be a good sign that even if there's layoffs affecting Treyarch, or even if they have to work on another COD right afterwards, they still have a good amount of content lined up and in the pipeline for this Black Ops experience. But yeah, speaking of layoffs, that's scary to think about as well. Like I mentioned before on the podcast, first and foremost, heart goes out to all the men and women who were affected by these layoffs. It's really sad to see. It's heartbreaking and really discouraging for the entire gaming industry. I think it really does impact morale for those that want to get into the gaming industry, for those that are in school right now, for those that currently work and don't know if their job is safe. It really sucks. But then when you have the conversation about how this could affect content, that's a whole other can of worms, right? Because you'd hope that each mode gets a significant amount of DLC and, you know, worthwhile replayable DLC with each season. So is that something that may be in jeopardy now because of these layoffs? We just haven't seen the consequences or effects of that yet for a game like Modern Warfare 3 or for a game that's coming out like Black Ops 2024. I really wonder how the layoffs could have affected zombies, if at all, and I really hope that they didn't. But leave all your thoughts down below. That is about it. This has been dkdynamite. What are you guys thinking about the future of zombies right now? Are you guys excited to hear about potential paid early access for one of the round-based maps? Are you guys nervous about the content output over the next 2-3 years? I want to think about remastered maps possibly coming into maybe this Black Ops coming out or the game right afterwards. Hopefully you also enjoyed some beautiful Bus Depot remastered gameplay here in the background. The beta is out as of right now and was developed by Verco. It was beautifully done. But leave all your thoughts down below. Really hope you've enjoyed, and peace out, everybody.